Mr. McHenry, do you seek recognition? The gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are here today because Attorney General Eric Holder has failed to meet his obligation pursuant to the subpoena issued him by this committee. We promised that we would get to the bottom of this matter for Brian Terry's family and the American people in order to make sure this type of operation never occurs again, that we would find out the facts, the information, reform the system based on the information. Many Republicans and Democrats on this committee demanded to know the facts and answers about this case a year ago when all of this started. But what started as a pursuit of facts has now turned into a slow crawl of evidence, requests, and delay. We cannot look at the evidence if the Department of Justice refuses to turn over those facts. Internally, they have reviewed 80,000 documents. They have actually turned over to our committee 7,000. I have no doubt that if the Department of Justice subpoenaed documents from someone, they would not patiently wait 7 months for those documents to be produced. No U.S. attorney would allow someone to review their own documents and tell DOJ what they think is relevant, or to do this: I'll just brief the attorney on what those documents might include rather than turn the documents over. No U.S. attorney would go for that deal. Yesterday, Attorney General Holder admitted that he had additional documents consistent with our subpoena request, but instead of turning those documents over, he tried to use them as a bargaining chip to control this investigation. It begs the question: what is in those internal documents that the Department of Justice that is so self-incriminating that the DOJ will not release them? Why would they rather use them as a negotiating tool? Now, prior to today, we have not had a request for executive privilege. But now it's been asserted, apparently, that the President's requesting executive privilege. We assume that the presidential executive privilege request only involves his communication deliberations. So prior to today, we weren't even aware that the President was engaged in the deliberations in response to the actions after the February 4th, what we requested. The reason we're even interested in these documents is the Department of Justice gave Congress a false statement February the 4th of 2011 about DOJ's knowledge of Fast and Furious. December the 10th, Brian Terry was killed with 2 of more than 2,000 guns allowed to walk into the hands of known or suspected criminals. February the 4th of 2011, Department of Justice sent a letter to Congress in which they stated that the allegation that ATF sanctioned or otherwise knowingly allowed the sale of assault weapons to straw purchasers who then transported them to Mexico is false. ATF makes every effort to interdict weapons that have been purchased illegally and prevent their transportation to Mexico. We now know that multiple people in the DOJ were involved in the drafting of this letter, and we know that their statement was false. March the 22nd of 2011, the President spoke to Univision, and he said there may be a situation here which serious mistakes were made. If that's the case, we will find out and we will hold someone accountable. May the 2nd of 2011, DOJ again stated to Congress, it remains our understanding that ATF's Operation Fast and Furious did not knowingly permit straw purchasers to take guns into Mexico, a very carefully worded statement to state something that we now know is false. So 1 month, DOJ said the accusations are false. The next month, the President, to a reporter, appeared to state that there may be a situation in which some serious mistakes were made. And then 2 months later, DOJ again tells Congress that they didn't permit those straw purchasers to move into Mexico. All to be flipped again in December of 2011 when the DOJ, the Deputy Attorney General Cole, acknowledged that the February 4th letter contained inaccuracies. Listen, we need to answer the following questions. Who authorized this action? Who was in charge of the oversight of the operation? Why were they allowed to continue, and who will be held responsible for misconduct? When the Department of Justice refuses to provide these answers, the House of Representatives is forced to collect them. This committee was united together to walk through the process with ATF. But now that it's with DOJ, this committee seems to be separating off and saying ATF was okay to investigate, but we shouldn't investigate inaccurate statements from DOJ. Why is this important? On a multiple level, truth and veracity is essential in government. But this is also important because the DOJ is currently in an investigation dealing with security leaks, and this same DOJ will release a report in some future day that we also have to trust is accurate. I urge my colleagues to move forward with the contempt. We need this information. We have to get this out both for the Terry family and to get a full accounting of what has occurred and when it occurred and by whom, and so we can hold people to account. With that, I yield back.